Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. And guys, in this video today, I'm going to discuss about uh, anti-LN authentication process. So that is also known. That process is also known as anti-LAN manager authentication. So we will see here three topic like what is anti-LM and how does anti-LM authentication work and anti-LM protocol, what is pros and what is cons of this method. Okay, so the very first thing I want to tell you like why anti-LM, that is anti-LAN manager, is important. Then I will tell you what it is actually. So guys, as we know, computer networks are open to cyber attacks. Very simple. In nowadays, there is a 99.999% possibility of cyber attacks if they are not protected against them properly. If your systems are, if your computers are not protected properly, there is a 99.999% possibility of cyber attacks. And so here with anti-LAN manager, that is also known as anti-LM, Windows introduced its own authentication protocol back in 1993, but the protocol is now considered largely outdated. So from this point of view, or to keep in mind that to avoid this cyber attack, Microsoft developed one authentication protocol in 1993, that was anti-LAN manager protocol, okay, to avoid cyber attacks. And networks are protected by not allowing every single user access to shared data and services. And yes, after that, around that timing, they made certain policies like entire data should not be accessible to everybody, entire services should not be accessible to everybody. Okay, in this way, only a designated user can access a network. So as per the requirement, business requirement and policy, the number of users or the specific users should be able to access network resources, network data and services. All those things came in picture at that time. So protected entries may have to be integrated into an otherwise closed network. So very simple, it should be very highly highly secured, very simple. Now this requires the installation of certain safety procedures. So to keep your data safe, to keep your services safe, your infra safe, you need to install certain safety procedures. You need to follow certain procedures and methods. Okay, for that this protocol was developed. And now what is anti-LM, anti-LAN manager? I will tell you about it. So once again guys, anti-LM is a collection of authentication protocols created by Microsoft. So in last slide I told you some around 1993 it was created or it was introduced. So it is a collection of authentication protocols created by Microsoft. Initially a proprietary protocol. It was like, initially it was a proprietary protocol, and anti-LM later became available for use on systems that did not use Windows. So it was developed by Microsoft company, so it was capable to handle or capable to protect initially to Microsoft operating system only, but later on it was available for non-Windows operating system also. The anti-LAN manager allows various computers and servers to conduct mutual authentication. So it was developed for mutual authentication only between client and server. And most networks attempt to deny access to unauthorized users, which requires implementation of an authentication process. So yes, there were lots of networks where if you are not authorized, you were not able to access the services. Okay, so that situation made it compulsory to develop something, and for that, to deal with that problem, this anti-LM came in existing. existence. Okay, and that time it came and it helped little bit, but it is now outdated. And guys, the protocol requires a client to be authenticated by providing a username and corresponding a password. Okay, so in this process, the user has to provide his username and password, and this allows an exchange to be established between users, device, and servers. So for example, this is your server. Okay, I will show you next slide, and I am a user here. So I will give my username and password. So it should be verified properly. Then only I will be able to access services, or then only there will be a successful session, or I should say connection. Okay, after the user's login credentials have been recognized, the server can then check access rights and allow the user's entry. So it will check each and everything, what rights you have, what you can access, what are the rights level you have, and if matches, then only you will be able to access the resources or services. Now guys, how it works? Very simple. Okay, very simple. This question occurs here or comes. How it works? What is the process? What is the procedure? Or what is the method of working of this protocol? So how does NTLM authentication work? So let me tell you here. So basically it is called challenge response protocol. Okay, or it follows challenge response method to work. So what happens here? NTLM uses a challenge response protocol to check a network user's authenticity. Okay, authentication is nothing but it is a process of identity verification. So that network will check whether it is authenticated or not. To do so, the client and host go through several steps. So here once again, this is server. I'm telling you this is user, and to verify his or her authenticity or of this device, it has to be in a procedure, or it should follow a complete step, or I should say method. So what happens here? The client sends a username to host. Okay, this is my host, for example, who is providing service, and this is client. It will send username to host. Now what will happen here? The host responds with a random number that is called challenge. Okay, from here it will respond with a random number that will be known as challenge. Now the client then generate a hashed password value from this number and the user's password, and then sends this back as a response. So here it will generate generates a hash password value from this number, and it will add user's password, and then it will send back to host. Now what will happen here? The host knows the user's password and generate a hashed password value, which it can then compare to the client's response. So here it will check what came from client end and what it has in its database. If both value matches, the authenticity of the client is confirmed and network access is granted. If there is no match between the value, the client will be denied access. So this is a procedure. Let me tell you here once again with this graphic. So guys, it is requesting for authentication. Okay, this is client and this is server, or you can say host. So it is sending username to this server or host. Now it is telling you, it is giving you one number that is known as challenge, response challenge. Now it will respond. This is first step, this is second step. Now it will send that client answer with hashed password. So it is coming to this server once again, or host. Now it will check information which is stored here and what he is sending, and if both matches, then only confirmation will be given to client. Yes, you have this access and you can access the resources. Host enables or blocks access if that information which is sent by this host or this client to host is mismatching or anything is missing. So in that condition, that will be blocked. You will not get any access. So this is a process. This is known as challenge response process. Host will challenge to client and client has to respond with this hashed password. And this is the process of anti-LAN manager authentication. It is now outdated. Now you should, I mean, a small thing you need to, take care, like, to keep passwords sent over a network from being read by unauthorized third parties. So the situation is like, it is little bit poor, I should say, not so strong to be not, I should say very simple, it is not very strong to be saved from hacking. Okay, and a hash function is used in which the password is converted into a comprehensively string of numbers with the help of a mathematical function. So in this, what will happen, it uses some algorithm and all, so that hash, that password will be converted in some sort of other format. So even if someone hacks it or someone capture the packets and all, they won't be able to hack, or they won't be able to steal that information or password and all, whatever. And since this conversion cannot be undergone very easily, hash functions play a very important role in cryptography. Now here I will tell you about pros and cons of this method. So guys, one advantage of this is that authentication through NTLM does not require user to send password unprotected by network. And password delivery from the client to the server is only done in the form of hashed value, which is provide a high level of security. There's a possibility of cracking this, but still there will be a high level security given by this NTLM. That was the only purpose to develop it, to give as much as best security it can provide to that communication. Okay, and now, however, hashed values have that disadvantage of being equivalent to a password. So this value will be equivalent to password, because that password only getting converted into another format. Okay, now if the transmission is intercepted, the very security promised by the system can be compromised. That is what I'm talking about here, the possibility of hacking and cracking this authentication process, or that password is 99.999 is definitely. And because everything has two sides, one is good, one is bad. If you give 10% guarantee of positive thing, definitely there will be possibility of 10% negativity also. Okay, good and bad. Next one, words are encrypted through MD4, and this process is now considered unsecure, since these hashed values can be decrypted with relatively little effort. So the hash value which is converted, which is a conversion of password, can be decrypted very easily. So now if we talk about the next disadvantage of, yes, it has some advantages, like it will be not it will not be going unprotected. Very simple, there will be some sort of protection while that information is traveling between client and server. Security is there, but not up to the mark. And the next disadvantage is that NTLM does not include multi-factor authentication. MFA is not there, and it is advisable to implement several security mechanisms, especially when sharing sensitive data. The challenge response protocol in NTLM only allow for single authentication method, that of using a username and password. So guys, if it has certain advantages, it has definitely certain disadvantages also. So it was developed in 1993, so that time there was nothing better than this, so it was in use for a couple of times. But later on, Kerberos came into existence, and now this NTLM is out of date. It is outdated, and Kerberos is in use in Active Directory and most of the servers for authentication and all. So that I'm going to discuss in next video, what is Kerberos and the authentication process. So that I'm going to show you and tell you in next video. So guys, if you feel this was informative and I was able to deliver the complete and good enough to understand about NTLM authentication process, I'm sure you will like it, share and comment on this video, and don't forget to hit this bell icon. So guys, I will meet you in next video. Till then, bye bye.